The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You're into The Local Show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM with Tom and Steve. It's mostly Steve, but I'll hang out for a little bit and try and steer the conversation in the direction of Steve. So tell us about Victory in Motion, the home of knee repair.
I forgot we have to talk about that. I was going to just be quiet and but it didn't work. You wouldn't fall for that anyway. It's been told you need a knee replacement. Maybe not. It's bone on bone. Maybe. What if you could get a second opinion? And you can from Dr. Mark Petropoli at Victory in Motion. Wouldn't it be better to grow cartilage and to voompa and cut your knee and stick something in there and have all those risks? Well, that's what they do. So give them a call, have a conversation, get that second opinion from them. 685-7544, Dr. Petropoli. It's victoryinmotion.com, 685-7544. Tom?
Well, it's a pleasure to bring back Josh Lange. He's a pastor at Redeemer Church here in Syracuse. Josh, how are you, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me again, guys.
Great. It's good to have you. There's a couple of Redeemer churches, and when I mention Redeemer Church, people will say, is that the Redeemer over here? And they start naming off all these locations. And explain to people what Redeemer Church you are and the differences.
Well, we are, yes, Redeemer Church, and we're one church in 5 locations. This is the language that we like to use. So there is a campus in Albany. There are 2 in Utica, 1 in Rome, and of course right here in Syracuse. And the beauty of the model that works that way is we have the benefit of, within our congregation, having smaller congregations, mid-sized congregation, and a large congregation. And so we get the benefit of living within all those realms, but maybe our smaller to medium-sized congregations are not out there by themselves, and they get the support of everyone. And so the nice thing about a position that I hold is in our world, we would call it a global position. And so I actually work for all 5 locations. And so I could be in Albany, I could be in Utica, I could be in Rome, I could be in Syracuse, and I travel around just trying to serve those folks in those various areas.
Yeah. Do you do any personal consultation? So if somebody becomes a member of one of the congregations, can they come to you personally and say, "Hey, look, I'm experiencing some troubles. Can I talk to you personally?" Absolutely.
Yeah. Wherever it might be, we do try to have this idea of, we're one church, and there's folks like Josh who, serve all 5 locations, but we try to have pastoral staff at a local level.
Gotcha.
Folks who live and breathe the community like Syracuse, who understand the everyday, the traffic patterns of 690 and 81 ever changing, and who are there on the ground. But of course, we're a team as well. And so the benefit of working with the team is there's strengths and weaknesses amongst the team, and we can supplement one with the other to try our best to serve the folks who are in the Capital Region, Mohawk Valley, and Central New York.
Is there a seasonality to spiritual struggles?
Yes and no. I think the reality of living in the world that we're living in is, and Jesus made this clear in the book of John. He says, "In this life you will have troubles, but fear not, for I am with you," is the key. And so whether you're in a season that is good, maybe in between, or absolutely devastating, Jesus makes this promise that he will be with you. And because he lived, because he died, because he rose again, we can have assurance that that promise will hold. And that's the beauty of Christianity, is the durability. Now, as we get into a season of holidays that are coming up, can those be particularly more difficult for folks? 100%, absolutely. Because the difficulty is you go to sit around a table, maybe at Thanksgiving, sit around a table at Christmas, and you can't help but think about the folks who aren't around the table with you. And so, for example, I'll give it this way in a practical way. My wife's grandmother, so my kid's great-grandmother, has been up from Jersey visiting with us the last 2 weeks, and she has kind of between my in-laws and my wife's aunt and uncle going back and forth between the houses. But my kids have had the benefit of seeing her just about every day, playing games with her just about every day. And it was interesting how she was just going across the street to stay with, the other brother and sister. And, I think she was already starting to miss that time where she knew, I might not see Parker and Stella every day like I've been able to see them play games with them. And so it's those kind of real emotions I think that can hit at a holiday type season.
I don't know. I look at, I'm sure, Tom, you think of your mom probably a whole bunch at the Christmas season. I look, up at camp, there's Dad's chair.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, what am I doing with Dad's chair?
Right.
It has no value. The chair is totally worn out, but it's Dad's chair, and that's where Dad sat, and you just struggle with those things. It's the missing seat at the table you were talking about.
Absolutely, and so the reality is the beauty of the Christian faith is this: our emotions are very real. We don't deny them, and we don't give in to them. And so, what does the Christian faith teach us? It says we're going to direct those emotions to God in prayer. And so in that season of maybe remembering loss because you're looking at an empty chair, is you can say, Jesus, I know that you see me. I know that you know what I'm going through in this circumstance and situation. Would you help me? And the wonderful promise that we have in Scripture is that he hears and that he is working on our behalf for his glory and our good.
Right. What about people that say, you know what, that whole church thing is annoying. It's just me and God, me and Jesus. I'm good. I'm just going to be on my own. And what about, I've run into people that have that mindset, and I get it, that they don't want to have to rub shoulders with annoying people, because churches are full of annoying people, Tom.
I've noticed that.
Yeah. So what do you say to someone like that?
Well, the reality is that is from what we see in Scripture, not how God designed the Christian life to work. And he has brought us into, we see a lot of familial terms. So he's brought us into the family. He adopts us as his children. We're, co-heirs with Christ. Then, they use some practical things like an army or building or house, whatever it might be. But the reality is that Christianity is not a solo event. Mm-hmm. And so what happens in my life as a Christian is when we gather together on a Sunday morning, we're all coming together because we know that we are going to meet with God there. But there's also an encouragement and a strength that we find in going through life together. So there's things about the Christian life that Steve is going to bring to the table for me that are going to help me in a season of life that without Steve, I'd be missing that. And the same is the reverse. There's things in Steve's life that he might miss about faith, about God, about how to walk out this life if I'm not a part of his life. And so Christianity, we help one another.
Yeah. Last weekend I was in New York City, and I was visiting Times Square Church. And I don't know these people, but I feel like they're family.
Sure. Because
it was the same, it was just a huge cultural mix. If you ever have a chance to go, it's amazing. Their worship is amazing. Mm-hmm. But it felt like they were my friends, and I didn't even know these people. Yeah. And I think that's maybe what happens in Christianity too.
And you get the spectrum from just quick relation to walking with people through years. And that's what really makes life special, is when you get that long-term.
Yeah. So Redeemer Church, if you want to connect, doors are open Saturday at 10. Where is that church located?
Sunday at 10.
Sunday. Did I say Saturday?
Across the street from Nottingham High School.
It's not Saturday. Sunday, 10 a.m. across the street from Nottingham High School, myredeemerchurch.com. Thanks, Josh.
Hey, thanks for having me.
That's why you're not seeing him much. He's over there on Saturday. Just hanging out.